I'd wager a lot of people have a hard time falling asleep because they don't have a good routine set up around it. Reading the Bridgerton subreddit because you just finished it, you can't believe the ending, and you're disappointed because it doesn't follow the books like it was supposed to, and now the show's doing something different, and the showrunners don't know what they're talking about. And all of those screams are what are going to distract us from actually being able to fall into some kind of repeatable pattern. Well, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Beautiful day here. If you like high temperatures and high humidity, it's about 80 degrees outside already. It's just a little before 5 o'clock in the morning, and the humidity is, I didn't even check, I'm sure it's well over 90% already. But it is crazy muggy, crazy hot, and not very comfortable. But that's okay, because we're here to get a little bit uncomfortable with regards to our workout today. We've got a push workout ahead of us, and I've been looking forward to this one since we finished our workouts yesterday. Did a pull workout yesterday and also did a run about an hour afterwards, which was great. I tried running at noon a couple days ago, which was the dumbest thing I've ever tried to do in a very long time. Don't do that. It was way too hot, especially without like any kind of hat on or anything like that. I did buy a cheap running hat on Amazon just in case I do go running really anytime during the day, but just to keep my head protected during those runs, I want to have something on my head so that we don't have the sun beating down on us and can endure a little bit more if we decide to do that once more. However, I do not think I'll be doing any runs anywhere near noon for the next couple of months. It was way too darn hot. Definitely way too hot. Speaking of hot, got an awesome push day ahead of us today. Looking forward to this one. We're going to be doing some cuff lateral raises. I've been talking about those a lot lately and how much I enjoy those. Incline benching, tricep work, shoulder work, you name it. We're going to be hitting all of it today on our push workout and really looking to take some of these exercises to true failure. The lever arm shoulder press is actually something that I haven't been particularly happy with for quite some time. I feel like every time I do it, I'm not very pleased with the overall form and ROM. So we're going to be taking extra emphasis today on that. And as you can see from today's workout, that's going to be like smack dab in the middle of our workout. So perhaps what it is I'm hitting a wall in the middle of our workout and my body's just slowly starting to fatigue at that point in time. I don't really think that's what it is. With full confidence, I think maybe I'm still just overestimating how much weight I need to be using to complete good, controlled, quality reps that allow for great depth, great stretch, but also a good amount of work effort to achieve as well. We don't want to go so low that we're doing 5 seconds on the descent with these shoulder presses, but we also don't want to go so high that every rep is like this hucking and heaving all the way up. I really, again, want to focus on getting in good, quality, controlled reps, making sure we keep the weight up there, but that we're also not taking away from what's going to be possible for us to achieve from a hypertrophy standpoint with that exercise, and really working all heads of the delt as much as possible when we're doing those overhead presses. So let's stop talking about it. I want to get warmed up and working on these lateral raises, and I want to talk to you guys today about sleep. We're going to be talking about sleep. We might even get a nap in during this workout, but we're going to talk about sleep and how important that is. Before we get into that though, let's go get warmed up with these lateral raises. I'll see you over there. We're reducing down the second set here. Just wasn't as smooth as I would like it. So we're just dropping it by 5 pounds. Nothing crazy. Hoping to smooth that out, get some better extension, and feel better about those overall reps. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, we got all set up here, warmed up, and we've got 195 keyed up on our barbell. I've lowered the bench this week to go more of a low incline setting for the incline bench. What I find happens when I do a full incline is that I will inadvertently target my shoulders more than I want to. So I've lowered this bench really for one reason, and we've already talked about it, which is that when I do my lever arm shoulder presses, I feel like I'm just not getting as much out of it as possible. Perhaps I'm compensating by using other muscles to try to lift that weight up, making it more of a tricep dominant exercise or whatever. I'm not entirely certain just yet. By lowering this bench down, we're going to take less of the load off of our delts and put it more onto our pecs, which is where we want it to be. We want it to be focused on that pec, and we're targeting the upper pec with this incline movement, but I don't want it to be so inclined that we're really just hitting our delts more than anything. So let's see what happens with this. One of the things that may happen though is that we're going to find that 195 may not be enough weight. As we lower this down, we should, in theory, be stronger in this bench press. We should be able to push more weight as we get closer to the flat bench position. That would be closer to a standard bench press. We'll see. We're going to start with 195 nonetheless, crank out our reps, and then adjust from there. Let's get after it. All right, that is exactly what happened. We're definitely a little bit stronger there. So we're gonna go up to 205. We did 12 reps there. We were looking for 8 to 10. They still felt nice and controlled though. It's not like we had like a crazy amount of excess available. And we're just taking our regular 2-minute break here. So gonna add on 5 pounds of this. And let's see what set number 2 has in store for us. Set number 3, we're gonna be taking a failure. So let's do what we can and get ourselves in a disadvantageous position for that 3rd set. Now, I told you guys I wanted to talk about sleep, and I do. It is so critically important for every aspect of our life to get good quality sleep. And in the gym, we track everything we do. I've got a timer for my rest periods. I've got a notebook writing down how many reps and sets I do, what exercises, what weights, tracking everything. If you're trying to bulk or cut weight, you're gonna be tracking your calories. We know we have to track those things in order for us to be successful. The interesting thing to me, most people don't track their sleep at all. You don't track your sleep. Now, do you have to track it to really understand whether or not you're getting what's required of you? Probably not, but it takes literally no effort. You can quite literally just go to sleep and get some amazing measurements to tell you where you're at. I don't think you need an app or a watch or any kind of tracking software to tell you how good the sleep was. I think you'll know, and I think most of us know when we get good sleep versus poor sleep. But sometimes tracking that sleep can provide us insights into how our week has been, our month has been, that we may otherwise not be aware of. Because just like when we're cutting or bulking, one day is not going to make or break things for us. We really need to look at how things average out over the course of about a week, even a month, to really understand how we're doing. But my favorite thing about sleep tracking, beyond all the daily, weekly, monthly averages, yearly averages, is knowing whether or not I'm being woken up in the optimal window for my sleep cycles, my REM cycles, and whether or not I'm being woken up abruptly, probably waking up all groggy because of it, or if I'm being woken up in my lightest phase of sleep, and not like I was woken up by a train horn screaming from my phone at who knows what hour of the morning. All right, last set here. Going to failure. Long leg partials at the bottom too. Let's do it. So how do we go about doing that? Well, it's honestly not that difficult. There are apps out there that will do it for us. I have an Android phone because iPhones suck, and I've been using now for probably close to 15 years an app called Sleep as Android. I'll put a little image somewhere here on the screen for you so you can see what that looks like. I highly recommend it. I paid for the pro version years ago. And if it's on a subscription, I want to say it's like under $3 a year. It is definitely worth it from a tracking perspective. But most importantly for me, as I said, is the tracking my active sleep cycle, the night that I'm actually asleep, and then waking me up when it's most advantageous. Here's how it works. When you're asleep, your body goes through different sleep phases. And when we're at our lightest sleep phase, that's when we're most inclined to get woken up. Each of those phases only lasts a certain amount of time. And once that timer expires, you're going to move on to that next cycle, essentially climbing up and down a mountain. I'll throw a graph on the screen right now of my sleep schedule from last night. You'll notice that there's some really good looking hills and valleys in here, coming up and down, up and down. It's fantastic. That was a really good night's sleep there. Other nights, they don't look like that. You'll see these light areas where it looks like we got woken up by who knows what. Maybe we just couldn't sleep. Maybe we were tossing and turning. It wasn't a great night of sleep. Oh, yeah. Oof. Oh, we'll take it. We can use this to determine how hard we should be pushing ourselves in the gym and making sure we're not overdoing it. But our app will use this data to make sure that we're being woken up when it's most realistic for us to do so. Now, I know after all these years that I need 7 hours of sleep. And in fact, there's a book that I would highly recommend you check out called Why We Sleep. That book changed the way I looked at sleep. I used to get, sometimes only 6 hours of sleep at night, sometimes maybe even 5, but it was all over the place. It was not consistent, it was not good. And that book, to be completely honest, it scared me straight, in a good way. That book goes into detail about how getting not enough sleep is the #1 indicator of somebody who later in life will have cognitive disorders, mental disorders, age-related degeneration. That is not to say that people who don't get enough sleep are 100% the only people who are going to and are 100% going to end up with some kind of mental disorder like schizophrenia, dementia, etc. But they were able to find signs that showed that the less sleep we get over the lifespan that we have, the more likely it is that we're going to end up with those degenerative diseases. So, obviously, first and foremost, we want to make sure we're avoiding those things. I know that I need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, and in the book it actually recommends that is the minimum amount of sleep people need. Some people need 8, some people may even need 9, but I need 7. My app will make sure that I wake up within a 30-minute window of the lightest sleep phase of the night. So for example, my alarm goes off at 4:15 in the morning. It will wake me up sometime between 3:45 and 4:15 every single day. If it's set for 5, it'll wake me up between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my God, BJ, I don't want 30 minutes of less sleep. Don't think about it like that. Think about it as your body making sure that you get enough sleep, not too much, not too little, and wakes you up in an area that's going to be the most comfortable to wake up in. It feels so much better to wake up in that window. I promise you, friends. I promise you, give it a try. Let me know what you think. And I'm telling you, it's going to change the way you view waking up and going to bed. It is fantastic. But obviously, that needs to start with you getting enough sleep. You need to be getting enough sleep that you can justify potentially getting 30 minutes less than you normally would. So if that means you need to be up at 5 a.m. and you go to bed at 10 o'clock on the dot, well, that's only 7 hours of sleep if you fall asleep immediately at 10 o'clock. But we know it's going to take you a little bit longer to wake up, don't we? We do know that. I go to bed and lay down around 8:30 every single night. And I know that I need to be up by 4:15 every single day. That gives me a bit of a buffer window to make sure that I'm getting that 7 hours and giving myself enough time to turn down and actually go to sleep. So if you're one of those people who needs 8 hours of sleep, you gotta go to bed a little bit earlier. If you need 7, maybe you gotta go to bed just a little bit earlier than you already do. But we've gotta make sure that we are asleep for 7 total hours. And my app in particular, and I'm sure numerous other sleep apps, will tell you how long you were actually asleep for, so that you can start to gauge how much sleep you actually got. And that's my last tip for you. Change that damn alarm sound to something pleasant to wake up to. Mine has been this chirping birds noise for, again, the last 15 years or so. Go through those apps, find a sound that's pleasant to wake up to. My wife uses some melodic tune in the morning. Other people use waves. I don't know how you could wake up with ocean waves, but to each their own. But just find something that's not a blaring alarm and let it slowly wake you up and increase in volume. It's going to make the world of a difference, I'm telling you, and you're going to appreciate it by the time you use it for the first 3 times. I'm telling you, it's going to make that quick of a difference for you. Do you struggle with doing these types of things, following through on them? Do you set little goals for yourself and just for whatever reason you fall off the boat? Do you need somebody who might be able to help guide you through creating realistic plans for your health, fitness and nutrition goals. It's probably the #1 comment I get here on the channel. BJ, I set a goal for myself. I was good. I went for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, but it just fell off. It never sticks, and I end up giving up on it. I'm disappointed in myself. I don't know what to do. Or are you just somebody who really just doesn't know where to start with building this better, healthier lifestyle? Reach out. Use that QR code right there, and let's set up a time to talk. I'd love to have a 15 or 30 minute conversation with you to see if there's some coaching I can provide for you with regards to fitness, nutrition, or even just general life coaching for areas of your life that you're trying to improve and set realistic, attainable goals to improve your overall quality of life. We can set up a quick 15 to 30 minute call at your convenience, talk about what your goals are, and see if it's something that I can support you through. It doesn't cost you anything to have that conversation. We're just gonna see if I can even help you, if I can provide you the insight and the guidance that you might need, but also perhaps most importantly, the accountability to pushing yourself, challenging yourself, and bettering yourself so that every single day you're getting a little bit better and chasing down those dreams and goals that you have for yourself, for your happiness, and for the fulfillment that your life deserves. Once more, scan that QR code and let's set up a conversation. I look forward to hearing from you. Now let's talk about getting set up for sleep. If you're going to bed and you're sitting on your phone, especially with unfiltered blue light, watching computer stuff, Netflix on the TV, playing video games, all of those devices are stimulating your brain. You're keeping it awake to the point that it's not going to start producing melatonin, which is what's going to help you fall into your natural sleep cycle. So we've got to eliminate those devices. Now, I am guilty of turning on a nice relaxing YouTube video, putting in a headphone, turning the volume down, and putting the phone over on my nightstand, not watching it, but still interacting with my phone and falling asleep to some media. We can't be perfect. Let's not try to be perfect. But more often than not, we should be trying to fall asleep with some kind of relaxing activity, reading a book, doing a Sudoku, a crossword puzzle, drawing, whatever your hobby might be, something that's chill and easy to do. But we want to be kind of unstimulating our minds that go all day being stimulated by all this information being thrown at us. Additionally though, we want our bedroom to be a sanctuary for sleep. We don't need to have a TV in our room at all. Watching TV in your bedroom is just setting yourself up for failure. You're making your bedroom something other than what it's supposed to be, which is a sanctuary for sleep. Some of us are not privileged enough to have multiple rooms in our space that we can have a TV in a separate room. I understand that. Again, we can't be completely perfect. Life doesn't make it that way for all of us. But if you can avoid it, don't keep that TV in your room. Don't be watching TV in your room. Make sleep a ritual and a sanctuary in your bedroom that your body begins to associate with sleeping. Because if we develop that habit, if we develop the habit of knowing that this space, this setup, this arrangement, and this ritual are for sleep, our body is going to naturally start to decline into that sleep phase and eventually fall asleep with a lot of ease and a lot of grace. I'd wager a lot of people have a hard time falling asleep because they don't have a good routine set up around it. And all of those screens are what are going to distract us from actually being able to fall into some kind of repeatable pattern, because we have screens downstairs, upstairs, in the basement, at work, away from work, all of this stuff, and our body doesn't associate that activity we're doing going to bed with being a bedtime activity. It's just another thing we do. So get rid of the screens as much as possible. Grab your Kindle. I love my Kindle. I actually don't have a Kindle. I have a Kobo e-reader. It's got a nice soft backlighting to it, warm backlighting rather, that can adjust in intensity. Read a book in bed, chill out, relax the brain for half an hour, and I promise you, it's gonna be so much easier to fall asleep versus if you sit there staring at your phone, scrolling Reddit, scrolling Facebook, scrolling Pinterest, reading the Bridgerton subreddit because you just finished it, you can't believe the ending, and you're disappointed because it doesn't follow the books like it was supposed to, and now the show's doing something different, and the showrunners don't know what they're talking about. Get a book that's interesting to you, some kind of fiction. It doesn't have to be nonfiction. In fact, I would say it should be the opposite. It should be some kind of story, something to engage your mind lightly, but not so much. It's going to keep you awake, make you really start processing through things, thinking through things, and just let you ease into that sleep cycle so that when you put that book down, you could turn over and you're going to be out within 5 or 10 minutes. It's a huge quality of life improvement, and I'm telling you, you're going to appreciate it. Now, one last thing I'm going to offer you all. One last piece of advice. And this one can get kind of pricey, so not everyone's going to be able to do this. Do you snore? Do you? And if you don't know, get one of these sleep apps and it'll record the sound at night. Does it tell you you're snoring? Go get tested for sleep apnea. I'm telling you, I cannot stress this enough. The improved quality of sleep you will have if you end up getting diagnosed with sleep apnea and getting a CPAP is unimaginable. You cannot understand how big of an impact it is. And I have exceptionally mild sleep apnea. I am at the lowest threshold possible to qualify as having sleep apnea. I think it's 6 events per hour, 6 AHI, I believe is what it is. 6 times an hour, I am waking up because of some snort, some snore, whatever it might be. There are plenty of people who have 20, 30, 60 AHI. That means 20, 30, or 60 times an hour. They are waking up. Can you imagine waking up every 2 minutes? Every minute? No wonder your sleep is so poor. You're so tired all the time. I am telling you, get the test. Go do it. They offer at-home tests now. You can find those online. I highly recommend doing it that way. The ones done in the lab, I've heard, are just very difficult. People have a hard time falling asleep because it's not your natural sleep environment. Do the at-home test if you can. It was very affordable, but find something online that will give you that sleep apnea test at home and get diagnosed to see if it's something that you would qualify for. Because once you have the prescription, you can go online and buy your own CPAP equipment at cpap.com. I think my machine was about 800 bucks. 800 bucks though, to drastically improve something I spend 30% of my life doing. Absolutely worth it. I'm telling you, friends, go get tested, see if you need that CPAP machine, and start using it every single day. I'm gonna tell you, it takes some getting used to. It's not easy to get used to, and it took me a good couple months to really get used to wearing that CPAP, but once it did, it clicked. It was like a light switch, and it was so much better sleep. Go get checked out, go get diagnosed if that's what it is you need, go get your CPAP, and then come on back here and tell me how that's working for you. All right, y'all. This is where I'm gonna leave you for today. Got one more set of these, 2 more sets of decline sit-ups over here, and then we're gonna call it a day. Go inside, get ready for our day, and I wanna run here actually in a little bit too. It's kind of dumb, we're gonna shower, wait a little bit, and then go run, but that's life sometimes, unfortunately. I hope you have a good day ahead of you. I hope you've got the rest you need to get through the day, to get through the week, to get through the month. We've talked about rest so many times, but I realized last night that we've never talked about sleep. So please, I beg you, sleep on it. Get some extra sleep, get the sleep you need. Check out that book. Again, it's called Why We Sleep. It's a fantastic book. It really changed the way that I think about the sleep that I get, how I plan for my sleep, and making sure that I am preparing myself for the day ahead, the workouts ahead, and giving my body the rest and recovery that it needs to. If you have questions about sleep or recovery, put them down in the comments. I love to see those. I love to interact with those. Love to answer those questions for you all and provide the guidance that you're looking for. But if you know something, feel free to jump in. Help somebody else out. It always makes the world of a difference. Thanks again for being here, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Be well.